does housing costs play in where a police officer decides to live?
I think it's probably a significant factor. I know we have a number of officers who are from out of town and continue to live out of town. We've even had some officers who have moved out of town. So I think it's a great incentive, a great idea to encourage them to stay in Columbia or to move to Columbia, and as the councilman said, put down roots here.
I asked Matt this earlier, now I'm going to ask you, are you aware of any programs similar to this in Missouri or elsewhere in the country? Do you know how successful they've been?
I'm not aware of any housing programs offhand. I mean, as he said, departments are doing things like recruiting bonuses, signing bonuses, tuition assistance. It's a competitive world out there, and so municipalities are getting somewhat creative on how they entice officers and keep officers.
So Dale, we've talked a lot about what's needed and what's necessary in order for the city to pull off community policing. You think this is going to help? You think this is going to do it? How is this going to play into that?
Well, the rental housing allowance for new officers should help attract new officers, and that's obviously an important component of getting up to staffing so that we can so that the department can adequately perform community-oriented policing. The home purchase part of this is certainly a benefit for officers who are already here, and hopefully an encouragement for officers who've been here maybe 2 or 3 years to think seriously about staying here.
But you just said it was a component. It says
Sure.
So what's left?
Well, we're still behind in pay on our officers. We can't compete in terms of pay with other municipalities. We've talked to the city about that. We're waiting to see if the city comes back with any opportunity, and we understand it's limited what they can do. So we're working together to see what we can come up with.
Is there a risk that, okay, so this is basically dependent year to year on if there's a surplus in the city budget. So is there a risk that this might go away some years, particularly if we get another financial crunch?
I'm sure that's possible. And as I understand it, if once you get in the program, they're not going to take it away from you. Your portion has been funded and you're in, but there might not be funding to do it again next year or maybe the year after, who knows. But I just think it's almost breathtakingly refreshing to have a council member affirmatively looking for things to do to help public safety departments, to help them. The mayor's been working with us, and to have other council members actually do something is really quite encouraging.
It's definitely felt like we've talked a lot about community policing, what's going to need to be happen, but it seems this is the first concrete plan that we've seen kind of since the passing of the community policing resolution. The idea of it, do you see or do you hope for more of these steps to come?
I think more steps will be necessary. I think, excuse me. I think more steps will be necessary. We alluded to that during the conversations in the council meetings when we were discussing community-oriented policing. So this is just a fantastic first step, and we'll watch to see what else we can do.
What kind of people do you hope that this will recruit? I know that there's what kind of people do you hope this will recruit?
Well, the department continues to seek out the best qualified, people with the best knowledge, skills, and abilities that they can attract. So I don't think their priority is certainly not going to change in that regard. Obviously, what we tend to get are officers who are fresh out of the police academy. They're young, they don't have experience yet, but these are bright people who've had a tremendous education, especially if they've gone to the academy here in Columbia.
So the mindset behind this initiative is to get those bright people to settle here and lay down roots here, as the council member said?
Absolutely. I think that'd be fantastic. Attract good people and do something to keep the good people that we have.
Would you have rather seen this money go to a salary increase, or do you think this is a good use of that money?
Well, certainly our salaries are behind, and there will be, employees in both the fire and police department who say, I would have rather had a pay raise, but this is just one-time money, and we all have to understand you can't use money to fund pay. So this is something that the city can do, and it's very positive, and we're just very appreciative of seeing it happen.